Well, I appreciate you coming out tonight, guys. It's a really good chance to get out under the lights, let the guys play a little bit. I thought we had a great turnout from our fans, which was excellent. It's a lot of fun to have everybody here and great turnout with recruits and all those kind of things. So overall, a really productive night and a very productive spring. And now we got to wrap it up with final exams, and then we'll get into the summer. So with that, I'll open it up for questions.
What's your overall impressions of what you saw from down on the field, offensively and defensively?
Well, it's tough, because you divide the team. So everybody's mixed and matched, and you try to make it as competitive as possible. So at least we do. I wanted to see some guys compete against each other, and then we have some play limits on guys too. So some guys had 25 play pitch counts, some had 35 plays, and once they hit it, they were done. Didn't matter when it was or where. I was scared there at the end, but I think Jameer Wright Collins is fine. But I mean, that would have been a horrible shame, last play of the game, right? So, or second to last, I should say. But it really was cool at the end there when we did the play and all our players were involved. I mean, that was special, and that's the kind of stuff that I love to see our team, the impact they can have on young people, and I think it's a great lesson for them that they can have that impact, and that if they're smart about it, they can use that platform to really help a lot of people.
Just what's your initial assessment of the quarterback play?
I think it was very similar to what I thought all spring. I thought it was really good at times and then inconsistent at times. We need to have a great summer. And, the hard thing about spring is you're on, you're off, you're on, you're off. These guys in the summertime, they throw with each other every day on their own. And that's really where the formulation of the chemistry, I think, occurs. No coaches, just them running the show. And I look forward. We'll take a little jump here into recruiting and some other things, but I really am excited about this group going into the training camp part of our preparation, because they're young and they're hungry and they got a lot to learn, but they're really trying to learn it. So that's exciting for a coach.
Greg, your two transfer wide receivers, Sean Ryan, Taj Harris, each led each team in receiving. How did you think each of them did? What do you think of their springs, and what do you expect to see from them through the summer and into the fall?
I think they're really going to help us. They come in, they join Shameen, and then a host of other guys. We lose a really fine player in Bo as he leaves for the NFL. And I think it's really important that what we did through the portal, supplementing what we already have here. We have some young receivers that are going to be really good, but they may take a little while to get there. And to have some experienced guys now on the squad, that helps a lot.
What have you liked about Ireland Brown at center and kind of what he's done at that position in the spring?
Yeah, I really think, Ireland started the year at the spring at guard. After 4 practices, we made the move to center. We just thought that he had that kind of fast twitch, and he does. I mean, I think he can be as good as he wants to be. He really improved quite a bit from, he did a good job the first 4 practices, but from practice 5 on, he really picked it up. And, at centers, people kind of take it for granted, especially in a shotgun offense, right? I mean, they just take that snap for granted. Well, that's not the easiest thing in the world. When if that was all you had to do, it's easy. But you have to snap it, and then you have to block somebody, and that other guy doesn't have to snap it. He just has to get off on the ball. So it's really a lot harder than people think. So you really got to be a pretty good athlete to do it. And with he and Gus, I think we have some good depth at the position now.
You had some big runs tonight. Just talk about his development and what do you expect from him?
Sure. Al-Shadi Salam. Haven't seen a lot of him because he was redshirting, as you said, and had some injuries at the end of the year. But he's a very talented guy, really talented, fast, explosive, and we just have to make sure we find ways to get him involved. And he's going to earn those touches. I think between he and Kyle I thought had a really good night as well, running the football. And, we'll get Aaron back, and, you have some depth there. And that's Ja. If he can stay healthy, Ja's got a chance to really compete there too. So I like our running back room, and it's just going to be fine-tuning it and really learning the little details of playing the position.
Seemed like we were destined for a lot of points early on, right? 2 touchdowns on the first 2 drives. What changed after that?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm anxious to. I'm not going to look at it tonight, but I am going to look at it this weekend and just see really what changed. My hunch would be as we started the game, then we started rotating people. So we already divided the teams, and then after 2 series, I want to make sure everybody gets enough reps. My thing, the spring game is, yes, the lights are on and we get to evaluate people that are playing in a game atmosphere, but spring is hard. It's 14 practices, and it covers a long period of time because we're on and we're off, we're on and we're off. So I wanted to make sure that everybody got the reward. Everyone that was healthy got the reward of playing in the spring game. So all 5 of the quarterbacks got plenty of reps. The running backs all got reps. The wide receiver, every position got reps. Every lineman, every kid that was able to play in the game, every player that was able to play played. So when you start really mixing and matching, I think the product dips a little bit. But there's other reasons too, I'm sure, that I'll see on the video.
And we spoke about the linebacker depth being a bit thin right now, but I mean, what did you see from Austin Dean and Anthony Johnson, and kind of the way that they play? Was there any encouraging signs about what they could do there?
You know, they've done a good job all spring. You know, they've learned, they're on the job training, right? So especially Anthony. I mean, Anthony really, he graduates high school in a couple of weeks. So they're both natural linebackers. They're instinctual. They got a lot to learn, but they're you know, I think that's definitely a thin part on our roster right now. I don't know yet with Mo. It's going to be probably a few weeks now before we know. So it's either going to be he's going to be able to play or he's going to get surgery, and that'll be it for the season. But the doctors just informed us today that we're going to have to wait a few weeks to know that, which is fine because if once you do the surgery, it doesn't matter. He's done for the season. So, you know, say our prayers.
Unrelated to the game, but AD Pat Hopp's got an extension announced today. Just your thoughts on the news of the day.
Oh, I think it's great, right? I think continuity here with people that work well together. You know, Pat's been here I don't even know how many years now, but he's done a great job, and I think he's got all our programs. I mean, you just look at what's happening with baseball, right? Look, both lacrosses, what happened with basketball, and I'll leave somebody out. I know I'm if I start mentioning everybody, but you look at the Rutgers athletic department, it's going like this, right? And the leader of that department's Pat. So I'm very happy for him. He deserves it. And what we need to do is we need to get this operation cooking, because this is the one that, you know, as we know, can really push everything up even faster. So, but everybody's locked. You know, everybody in this athletic department at this university, including our president, who got underneath that punt and fielded it right at the beginning of the half. That was unbelievable. I got to tip my hat to him. I mean, there are not a lot of people our age that can get underneath that and catch that punt, especially the ones Adam hits at night, right? And I'm sure President Holloway was not practicing punt catching. He doesn't have the time to do that, right? So right from the very, very top, all the way through our athletic administration and down to all the coaches and players, you know, I think this athletic department's in a good place, and it's only going to get better. So I'm thrilled for Pat and thrilled for our department.
Greg, with the spring awards, you already talked about Ireland, but can you just talk about what led you to choose Matt and Dion for the other awards?
Sure. Matt played this entire spring in a lot of pain, but he knows he's going to have a procedure done at the end of the spring, and he'll be fine, you know, probably somewhere in the middle of June, back to normal. But he could do the spring with it, and it got worse as spring went on, but he's going to go get the procedure, and he's going to be fine. And all he did was go out to practice every day and just give it up for this team. You know, we were down, at one point, tonight, we only had 4 tight ends on the roster, right? Well, the rest of them were injured or recovering from injury. So there was a couple times when Matt laid out for catches, and I didn't think he was going to get up. And he said, give me a minute. And he got up and gave him a minute, and he was okay. And I knew he was in pain. But that's part of our game, right? There's a difference between playing with pain and playing with injury. If you're not going to hurt it worse, then you know they're going to need the procedure. Matt made the decision to help the team, and I thought that was really, really big of him. And especially a guy who's got game experience. I mean, Matt's got a lot of snaps under his belt, and he did it for the team. And then Dion, I thought, Dion's a really talented guy. Dion had some bad luck with the injury, and then he needed the surgery, so he missed the whole spring. Last spring, he's really made big improvement, and I think he's a Big Ten linebacker. I do. I think he's going to have a really good season, and we're going to need all hands on deck. As I said, that room is light right now with the injuries. We're hopeful that Mo can come back, but he may not be able to, and we're preparing as if he's not, and if he does, that's going to be great. So we're gonna try to turn over every stone and see if whether it's outside our program or even inside our program, to make sure we have the ample linebacker depth to go compete for a whole Big Ten season. So, but Dion is definitely right in the middle of those plans, and he's really made huge improvements in our 14 practices. I have no idea if he played well tonight or not. I didn't really watch him, but he sure did have 14 good practices. Guys, I appreciate you coming out. Appreciate you covering us this spring, and you guys have a great summer, and we'll see you at training camp.